How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the inaugural edition of The Fight Life. On today's episode, we have an in-studio guest. His name is Chidi Njokuani, fights for the RFA, has an upcoming fight in March in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's going to be an amazing interview. And, you know, when everybody found out that we have this new studio here, Fight Life Studios, we had a couple surprise guests come in. We have Boston Boom Salmon, another RFA fighter. Basically, he had a hot amateur career. You've seen him on Inside MMA. Multiple times for multiple different knockouts. You know, he's really highly touted, and he just took out one of Lyoto Machida's top students in his pro debut at the RFA, and coming off of her debut in the UFC as the first cut woman to ever work for them, we have Swayze Valentine, a very old friend of Fight Life Media. So, guys, you know, keep tuned, check out everything that we have to offer this first episode, and let us know what you think.
Rules are simple. Somebody's gonna win, somebody's gotta lose. But never leave it in the judge's hands. And this is the Fight Life.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fight Life. We're here with Chidi Njokuani. He's going to be fighting at the RFA on March 7th in Lincoln, Nebraska, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, it's been a little bit of a long road. You were telling me earlier about some of the stuff that had taken place, opponents having to pull out and stuff like that. So let's talk a little bit about that and what that was like for you.
Yeah, I had to, initially it started out to be the title fight for the 170 belt, for the welterweight belt, and my original opponent decided he wanted to take a short notice fight in UFC instead of fighting me instead. But I mean, it was a good idea for him. Like, it was a great choice. I would have done the same. But now I got to fight Chris Heatherly for not for a title anymore, but it's still going to be a good fight for me. And looking forward to it.
All right. So, what is that? What goes through your head when you see stuff like that? When an opponent, you know, gets offered that short notice fight? You've been around for a long time. I mean, you've fought for multiple organizations. Your brother fights for the UFC as well. Yeah. So, you know, what goes through your head when you see somebody pull out of a fight with you to go take that opportunity?
Really, like, sooner or later it's gonna be my shot. Like, one day I'm gonna get that call, and I'm gonna be able to take that fight in the UFC and tell the peasant that I was supposed to fight. Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, one day it's just gonna be my shot, and that's just what I'm waiting for.
All right. So now you have this next opponent lined up. You know, tell us a little bit about, you know, what your thoughts are on him as an opponent, and you know, what your plans are moving forward.
As an opponent, he's a tough guy. He's coming off of a win against Dakota Cochran, and that guy's pretty good himself too. So it's gonna be a tough fight. I'm not underestimating him at all. He's a wrestler. I imagine he's gonna try to take me down, just like every other fight. So, I mean, I just go out there just looking to get a good win against a tough game opponent.
Okay. Now, you know, I was scrolling through Facebook last night, and I saw something interesting that you put up. Basically said, "I want it all, so I can have it to give back." You know, tell me what kind of causes you to say stuff like that. It's not a negative thing, but, you know, what is it that kind of inspires you to want those sorts of things?
Just back home, man. I got a lot of friends that just need help with, whether it's a legal issue or just money-wise, really. And that always seems to be like what's in the way for them to get to the next level of whatever they're doing, or for them to stop doing the stuff that they shouldn't be doing and to move on with their lives. And it all really comes down to just money. And if I feel like if I just can really make it in this game and what I'm doing, then I could be able to take them off the streets or help my mom out with whatever she needs. And I mean, that's really just it. I just want to be able to be that guy that you can come to in your time of need.
It's something that's very admirable. You don't see that too often. A lot of people don't say things like that anymore. You know, tell me a little bit about the importance of you being able to give back, whether it's to friends, family, community, anything like that.
That's the whole point of why I do this. I mean, whether or not it doesn't even have to be money-wise or anything physical. It's just if I can show the people that I grow with that it's possible to make it, then that's enough for me. Like just that motivation for them to say, hey, I grew up with Chidi since we were kids, and he came up from nothing. Like I can do the same thing. Like if I can give them that motivational push just with what I'm doing in my career, then that's good enough for me, you know.
Now, let's talk a little bit about, some of the other things. Are you pretty much wanting to stick strictly to MMA right now? Have you thought of going back to Muay Thai or kickboxing?
It's at this point it's up in the air, man. I'm not signed to any big organization, and I love Muay Thai to death, so I always have the most fun doing that. But I really want to make it in MMA. But until I get signed to that big organization, then I'd take a Muay Thai fight any day. So right now, I don't even mind.
Now let's talk a little bit about your time with the RFA. It is an organization basically it's no secret that a lot of people that move up into the UFC, that's the path that they seem to take. Yeah. How has it been fighting for the RFA? How have they been treating you?
It's been great. Like I get a lot more exposure when I fight for them, and they're there to look out for the fighters too. They're not there to keep a hold on to like their precious fighters. Like if UFC calls any one of their guys, they're more than happy to give them up, and which is a cool thing. They're not the organization that tries to keep a hold on to you and tries to just act like you're their property, you know. And they do the most for their fighters. They promote them as much as possible, and they have more of a personal connection with them too. So I enjoy fighting for RFA.
Now, recently you were able to fight out of the country in Guatemala for Shinzo. Tell us a little bit about that experience and what that was like to go down there. You had press tours, everything kind of going on. So tell me what that experience was like.
It was probably one of the dopest experiences I ever had. Other than the fact that I was the only black guy out there, it was probably one of the coolest things ever. We did like shows in the mall and had all these people come out. I don't even know if they even knew what like fighting was, but to us, we're like the UFC to them. Like it was just such a big deal, and maybe it's because I was black too. Like they were looking at me like I was like a mythical creature. I thought I had a black friend too, man. Like I saw him at the chicken spot, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He looked at me like, "Do I know you?" like damn, man. I thought we were boys, but it was cool, man. It was probably like if I could do it all over again, man, I would like do the same thing over again.
All right, now you're heading to another place where it doesn't seem like there's too many black people. You're going out to Lincoln, Nebraska. Have you fought out there before?
No, I'm fighting Kearney, Nebraska. And you're right, there's no black people out there. Actually, when I tell people that I'm fighting in Lincoln, now they're like, "Oh yeah, there's probably like 5 more black people there. You might see somebody." But I fought in Kearney one time. It was like. Man, I think the after party was at like a Denny's or something. It wasn't even called Denny's though. It was like some other name. But it was
Denny's?
Cool. It was something. Yeah, Benny's. No. But nah, it's cool. Like I'm looking forward to it. They say Lincoln's more like the college town, and it's more. It'll be different. It'll be a better experience, hopefully.
All right, now tell us a little bit about how you see this fight going down with your opponent.
On my end, I just plan on going out there and banging, just keeping it standing and just showing everybody like what my stand-up's all about and what everybody really tunes in to watch me do. I can't tell you what he plans on doing. I'm sure he's gonna want to take it to the ground, but I see it being kept on the feet and me doing what I do best.
All right, everybody, that's all the time we have for right now with Chidi Bang Bang and Njokuani. Look forward to your fight. Wish you best of luck, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to the Fight Life Media Warehouse. We're joined by Boston Salmon, coming off of a pretty big win, RFA. Talk to us a little bit about the win, man.
It was a good victory for me, pro debut, being with RFA. Another spectacular knockout, which I was surprised about, so I couldn't be more thankful for that, for fighting for a big organization.
Let's talk a little bit about you going into this fight. I mean, we saw you through your amateur career, all over Inside MMA. You have had tons of highlight videos, and they basically brought you in to fight one of Lyoto Machida's top students. Knowing that you're, obviously quite dangerous, so you're going to be a test for him. But what were your thoughts going in and fighting somebody of that caliber?
Honestly, it didn't really affect me. Based on my boxing career, I fought so many different high-level caliber opponents. I fought guys that made it to the Olympics, and the 3 losses that I had in my boxing career, they're actually doing really good with their professional careers. So of course, it was a little something for me to fight Lyoto's prodigy, but going into the fight, it didn't really affect me.
Now, let's talk about that jump into the RFA. A lot of guys, they have to go through the circuit and fight in a lot of regional shows, but you came right out of the amateurs straight into an organization like the RFA, which is no secret that that's a fast track to the UFC. So, what are your thoughts on how your career is progressing this far?
Honestly, it's been a quick ride. It's been a long ride. It's been a quick ride. I've been doing MMA for a little over a year now, and just the way things been dishing out, it's been a good ride for us. My first fight was in Canada, that went well, and then our second fight was with Tough Enough, and the third fight with with Tough Enough again, and then it was a title fight, and we had a sensational knockout which went viral on the whole media with the whole social network or whatever. And then I didn't think I was going to turn pro by then, and then Coach Ron Frazier pretty much made the call to turn pro, and then we signed with Sucker Punch Management, and they got us with RFA, which is a big promotion and big organization, so I couldn't be more thankful for that.
Now, aside from being able to fight for the RFA, Sucker Punch is one of the bigger management groups out there. Let's talk a little bit about how that kind of went down, because there's a lot of fighters out there that can never even squeeze management or anybody to take a chance on them.
Exactly. Honestly, after my last title fight, I wanted to keep my options open. I knew, like Ron said, this is a title fight, and you got to expect to get a lot of people coming at you and trying to manage you, whatever. And we need to keep our best options out there. And Sucker Punch contacted me, and I was shocked. So I spoke with my parents. I spoke with a few fighters that they manage. I spoke with Ron Frazier, and Sucker Punch was pretty much, we finalized on that deal, and that was probably our best option out for us. And so far with our career, it's been the best bet for me, signing with RFA, and like I said, being with the best management team out.
Now you're going to be able to go up to a gym here pretty soon, and there's obviously Sucker Punch family as well. So tell us a little bit about this opportunity that you have coming up.
Honestly, I was shocked. After my pro debut, Brian Hamper and Brian Butler gave me the call, and they're like, "Oh, Pat Kern from Bellator, he's going to be fighting for the championship March 12th against Daniel Strauss, and they're fighting for the featherweight championship, and they want to invite you out to their camp." And I was shocked. I was nervous. I was like, why out of all the guys that they could pick, they choose me, a southpaw? So that actually meant a lot to me, and I took it into consideration, and here I am going out there next week and helping out the champion Pat Kern for his fight.
So what do we have in store in the future for you? What can we all look forward to seeing next from Boston Salmon?
Coming from the background that I have, boxing and wrestling, coming from Hawaii, in fact, as well. I'm here to produce knockouts. That's me. That's my background, and that's what I want to bring to my fans and whoever's out there watching me. Expect knockouts from me.
Now, do you have another fight lined up?
Hopefully, I haven't had anything confirmed. Hopefully in April or May, hopefully I get something confirmed by then. That'd be good enough time. Within 3 or 2 months, I can start my training camp and get ready for that with RFA.
All right. So, what are your plans for the future, and how do you see yourself progressing in the sport?
I signed a deal with RFA Promotions, and my goal is to become RFA champion at featherweight, or maybe even at 135 pounds bantamweight. And RFA, they feed a lot of fighters to the UFC, and usually when you become a champion with them, you will probably get the phone call from Dana White or whoever it is from the UFC. So that's my goal right now, to fight for that organization and get that strap, of course, and get a bigger phone call.
All right. So you guys heard it here with Boston Boom Boom Salmon. He has big plans in the future, and he has a bright future as well. So Boston, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, Felipe.
And we look forward to everything going on in the future with you, man. What's up, everybody? We are back at the warehouse in Las Vegas, and we are here with Swayze Valentine. It's been a long time, Swayze. How you been?
I've been great. It's been too long.
All right. So, for those of you that have followed us for quite some time, we did a video with Swayze about a year ago.
Yeah, almost.
And well, for those of you that don't know who she is, she's actually one of the first female cut women or cut men.
It's fine.
Around in mixed martial arts. And last time that we caught up with you, you were still doing the amateur circuit down here in Las Vegas and up in Washington State. So catch us up a little bit and tell us what's happened over the last year with you.
All right. Wow. Over the last year, it's been a crazy year. It's been really busy. Yeah, last time we met, I was doing all the amateur stuff, and that was a lot of fun. Then I got bumped up into starting pro, and that's, of course, a whole new level. Let's see, my first pro gig was, I did WSOF, and it was here in Las Vegas at the Hard Rock, I think it was. Yeah, the Hard Rock. It's been a little while. And so I did a few of them, and then I got on with Bellator, so Bellator was super cool. And then after that, Invicta, and kind of Invicta was back in December, but kind of before that, I did a few WSOFs going to Florida and those types of places. So it's been busy, crazy, and I just got done actually with my first UFC gig last night. So it's been incredible.
And I sent you a message a while back just telling you, like, all you need is one more show, and you've basically hit all the major organizations, all the major promotions. Tell us what that means to you, to be able to have worked your way up essentially the same way that fighters always want to work their way up as well.
Oh man, it means, I almost can't even put into words how much it means. That may sound corny, but it's such an honor. I mean, I get to work with athletes from all levels, and I mean, they're all just incredible athletes. And to be this far as being, the only female cut woman now in the UFC, it's just incredible. I mean, I think, and everybody that from the very beginning that allowed me to, be a part of their career, and I mean, these fighters especially, I mean, they're the reason I got into this. So to be, the first female to be this high is just, it's an incredible honor. I couldn't be more happy.
Now let's talk about some of the trials and tribulations that you've gone through. There was obviously a documented thing on Facebook where I got into a fight with another cut man from out in Indiana for basically talking shit about you. So, let's talk about that, because I wasn't really too aware of it. I mean, you had kind of brought a couple things to my attention of situations that had taken place in cage or people not letting you wrap hands, but I never realized until that point what that was like. So let's talk a little bit about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's, like I said, it's been a crazy journey. I mean, being the first woman, cut woman anyways, I had a lot of challenges, and I still have those challenges, but the further I go, the more respect I gain, the better people know me, those types of things. I've definitely had a lot of trials and tribulations. It wasn't easy by any means. A lot of fighters and coaches, they didn't want me to touch their fighter, whether that was greasing them before they go in the cage or wrapping their hands. I've even had some coaches, once I leave, I would have wrapped their fighters' hands, and once I leave the room, I would come back to get my things, and the coach would be cutting the fighter's hand wraps off and redoing them himself. So, that kind of hurts, because that's my passion, and to have somebody disrespect it like that, it was hard. But not everybody's gonna like you, and not everybody's gonna agree with with what I like, or how I do things, and that's fine. I mean, everybody has their preferences. gosh, the worst that's happened was I was actually physically assaulted in the cage by a coach. And I mean, that was the lowest of the low that I've had to deal with. And, you know, I just brushed it off, and I'm actually really thankful for those challenges because honestly, it makes me so much stronger, and it totally built me up for what I needed to be in the UFC, for instance. I mean, that's the biggest, that's the highest. This is where I'm going to either get the most criticism or, you know, people are going to love me or, you know, so my goal is just to, regardless of what happens, just work my best and, you know, just keep the fighter safe, and that's the most important regardless of what anybody thinks or likes or dislikes. So it's kind of that.
Okay. Now let's talk about what kind of validation do you think being a cut woman in the UFC brings to everything that you work towards?
Wow, validation. It's crazy to think about it like that. I have to say, personally, it's just achieved so much. Validation-wise, I hope that I will gain the type of respect that I feel that I deserve. You know, I did work so hard, and I really believe that I deserve to be there. I'm not about to make anybody make me feel that I don't deserve to be there. So to be in the UFC, to be in, you know, the best or the highest fight organization is, man, it's just incredible. I mean, the validation is locked in, you know. Hopefully I'll get the respect that I worked so hard to earn, you know, and yeah, I'm just excited.
Now, in the past, you have talked about the struggle of being a single mom and having to basically leave on the weekends to fly to all these different places. Obviously, it's not just a dream for you, but it's also a dream that you're trying to achieve for the betterment of your family. Right. Tell us what your family's thought of everything that's kind of taken place over the last couple months.
Oh man, first of all, they're incredibly excited that I made it as far as I have. It's been, you know, again, an incredible journey, and it's been extremely difficult. I mean, it's hard being a single mother anyways, just to even find the time to put your kids in, to get them covered, you know, childcare wise, so you can go travel is difficult. But bottom line, I've worked so hard every day and prepared myself for the day that I get into the UFC. So, you know, everything I've worked towards and just prepared. So when I do have to just leave on the fly, it's covered. You know, I've just been preparing for years for that. And I have the support of my family. My parents, you know, they watch my kids when I'm gone, and I'm so thankful for that, because without them, I mean, it'd be really hard. But they're super excited, and, you know, of course, them being my family, they supported me, but they had their concerns of if, you know, even if I'd even make it, you know, because it is a lot of work with no pay, and, you know, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and but it's been well worth it, and yeah, I'd do it over again.
All right. So now that you've gotten to that point, where do you see yourself going from here?
From here, you know, I just hope that I can just work with these fighters, you know, whenever I can, and being with UFC or whoever else, I just hope that I can just be the best that I can be for all the fighters. That's honestly my goal.
All right. Well, you know, it's an honor for us to have followed you. You know, I think that we've all kind of been growing together through the mixed martial arts scene, but to see somebody, you know, get to that level and actually get to the UFC, trying to achieve their dream, which is a little bit different from fighting. You know, like I said, it's definitely an honor for us, and we're definitely very, very proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys are awesome.
Now, if you guys want to check out the first interview that we did, you can definitely find that on YouTube. Make sure you /Fight Life Media, and you're going to go ahead and look for Cage Side, Swayze Valentine, and that's basically the beginning of the journey. That's
where it started, yep.
And so, once again, from Fight Life Media, from Fight Life Flip and Swayze, we're out of here.
Bye.
Peace. Hey everybody, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. We also wanted to say thank you to all of the wonderful guests that came by today. It was awesome having them in studio, especially the surprise guests, you know, totally caught us off guard. If you have any comments that you want to leave, just make sure you leave them below. If there's any suggestions as far as fighters, we are in the local Las Vegas market, so let us know who you'd like to see. We'll see what we can do about getting them on the show. As always, make sure you follow us at fightlifemedia.com, Instagram, Twitter at FightLifeMedia, and on Facebook, /Fight Fight Life Media. And as always, remember guys, without you, there's no us, and you are Fight Life Media.